We are recording these for our website. Okay, good. Here we go. All right. So if anyone needs translation, we have that service here available for you this morning. I appreciate you being here. I know it's hard to get here with the weather, and today is the first day of school, so it's pretty crazy here for us too. So I really appreciate you joining us today. So our topic for today is building resilience and how to support your child's social and emotional health. Um, so we're kind of at the middle of the semester. Students start brand new to the semester, so they have a fresh start for their academics. Some of them have new teachers, so we're hoping that students take the opportunity for a brand new semester to start new, make some new goals and things like that. But what we found as school counselors is that some of our students are needing some extra help in resilience. What is resilience? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Rowancin Garcia. I'm one of the 7 counselors here at Sweetwater High School. I'm a Sweetwater alumni. I grew up in National City, so I went to Eltiana Elementary School. I went to Granger. And, now I'm here working at Sweetwater High, so it's good to be home. So before, like all of our parent workshops, before we actually do the actual presentation, we have a test. It's not really a test. But it's just to check and see what you know already about the topic that we will be talking about today. So kind of like a pre-survey just to assess and kind of figure out what type of information or what part of the information we'll be talking about today you already know. Um, and then we'll kind of ask you the same questions again at the end, see if there was anything that was new that we covered for you, or if any of the information was something you already knew or not. It helps us also when we plan these presentations to kind of figure out if parents learn something new out of our presentations or not. And so that's why we ask you to answer a few of these questions for us at the beginning and again at the end. So I'll give you a few minutes to fill that Okay, so um, part of the reason why we decided to do this topic of resilience is to kind of explore the idea of mental health for our students and the needs of mental health for our community. And so, mental health, we all have mental health. Mental health relates to the way we think, we feel, we behave, and interact with other people. Um, Mental health has kind of become a popular term, kind of a buzzword. There's commercials on TV about it now. There's billboards all around National City about mental health. Um, so it's kind of just like you have physical health. You go to the doctor to check your blood pressure and if your heart's working correctly or if your knee hurts. Um, Mental health is just like that. And so um, everyone experiences mental health, whether you're either mental healthy or maybe you have mental illness, and there's kind of a range in between, just like physical health. Um, Either we experience that or we know somebody who might have experienced mental health issues in the past. And so the statistic is that 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem each year. And us, as your school counselors here at Sweetwater High School, it's become a common occurrence that we see students who are feeling anxious or depressed or just having some of these mental health issues where they hurt themselves or they have thoughts of hurting themselves. And so it's become, in my 10 years as a school counselor, it's become more and more of an issue. Every year we see more and more students come in with these types of issues. And so we thought it important to kind of share this information with you all in hopes that you'll talk to other people about these things as well, because it is something that we're seeing here at school. So here are just some statistics about anxiety and depression. Those are the most common mental health issues, with about 1 in 10 people affected at any given time. And 1 in 2 people in every 100 will experience a serious mental health problem, such as bipolar disorder, psychosis, schizophrenia, or something related to that in their life. So the one at the top, the 1 in 10 people. So here at Sweetwater High School, we have 2,700 students. So that means we have approximately 270 students on campus who may be experiencing some sort of anxiety and depression, just by the statistic. And I'll tell you that's probably right, because we see them very often here. The teachers see them very often in the classrooms, and they'll send them down. So then we can talk to them and give them some strategies. But it's one thing for us as the educators here on campus to kind of give our children those tools, but we're hoping to give you all some of those tools too, so you kind of know how to deal with some of this stuff at home when you see it. So mental health is not always preventable, so not like there's a cure for mental health, just like blood pressure. You know, if we have high blood pressure, which I do, there's not really a cure for it. You kind of have to learn how to manage it and take care of it. So mental health is kind of like that too. But there's a whole team of people, and if we work together with our children, they'll have the support systems to help them be okay. So our topic today is resilience. So what is resilience? So resilience is when any person experiences a hard time, a bad time, a challenge, and you're able to bounce back from that, to learn from it, to help yourself get through it, and then kind of be back to normal, let's say. We have some students who maybe they failed a test, and that's so devastating that for the rest of the school year, they're out because they can't learn from it, grow from it, and move on from there. So resilience is being able to bounce back from a challenging situation. So that's part of being mentally healthy, is being able to learn from those experiences and kind of grow from them and move on. So why focus on resilience? Of course, resilience can help manage stress and feelings of anxiety and uncertainty for some of our students. Statistics show that resilient students do better, not only academically, but socially and emotionally as well. So when students have the characteristics of being resilient, they do well overall. They're better as an overall person. So if you want to think of resilience kind of like an airplane in turbulence, so when you're in an airplane and you hit those pockets of air and it shakes violently, so a student who's experiencing a difficult time could kind of be seen as that airplane. So the pilot is your child. Okay? The co-pilot are you as parents and family, teachers, maybe friends, or if you go to church or involved in the sports team, coach and team members and things like that. So the co-pilots are all the friends and family that support that child. The type of plane, okay, if it's a big plane, a small plane, a plane with all the fancy computers, or maybe a very simple or old airplane. So the type of plane could be your child's age, your child's personal characteristics, the equipment available. So does that child have the strategies on how to deal with a difficult situation? And then the severity of the weather. Okay, that's the severity of the situation. Did they fail a class? Did their girlfriend break up with them? Did they fight with you? Did you take away their cell phone? You know, what are the different situations that they deal with that they need to learn from and take control of? So like we mentioned earlier, we can all help children be more resilient. We're a team. And so the teachers do their thing in the classroom. As school counselors, we do our thing when they come into the counseling center with us. And we're hoping to give you some tools that you can work with your children at home too. So at any point in this presentation, if you have questions, please feel free to stop and stop me and ask your questions if you need to. So here are some of the signs of a resilient child. I will talk a little bit about some of these things as I present today. I think the important parts here are learning from their mistakes. They're able to identify their strengths along with their weakness. They have self-control. They're able to move on and overcome difficult situations. They know how to ask people for help if they need it. And these are some of the things we'll talk about today. So how can you, as a parent, build resilience in your child? There are 4 different categories we'll talk about today. The first of which is building positive relationships. So how many of you have 9th graders? 9th graders, okay, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade seniors? Okay, good. So some of you may have already been doing this, maybe not so much, and I know as a parent, life is very busy. We have lots of commitments, and sometimes days can go by, weeks can go by because you're so busy that there's just so much going on that it's hard to kind of slow down and build those relationships with our children because life is just that we have lots of commitments. But it's important that not only do we encourage our child to build relationships at school or on their sports team or at church or what have you, but with you as well, and that you're making an effort to kind of take some time every day to kind of build some of those relationships. And so when it says spend quality time with your child, it doesn't mean going to Disneyland or going out to a fancy restaurant. I mean, even maybe every Monday night there's that show on TV that you all like to watch and that you're all sitting on the couch at the same time and watching the show and have that just checking in with them at that time. That might be something. Support your child to build relationships with other adults, to get involved on campus. Here at Sweetwater High School, we have so many things to get involved in. The new one I heard of is the Korean pop music club after school. There's some students that are very into that, and we have a club after school for that. I didn't even know that. So if your child is into something and they want to create a club on campus and bring their friends to be a part of that, that's something that they can do. And statistics show that when students are involved on campus, they have a connection on campus, and that motivates them to do better academically. And for me, when I was here at Sweetwater High School, I was involved in choir with Mrs. Charles. She was here when I was here, so I was one of her students. I was in dance and like Miss Guzman's program, and those were the things that kept me coming to school. I wasn't much of an athlete, but those were the things that got me involved and what kept me wanting to come to school. So having your children get involved in something here at school is beneficial. If they're lost, they're not sure what to get involved in, then that's something that we can help with. Friendships with peers. So it's okay to, not okay, it should be, and you should know who your friends hang out with. You might not approve of them all the time, but a way to kind of gauge that is to kind of open up your home and open up some of those family activities that you do to some of their friends, so you can kind of see what kind of people they are, what kind of friends they are. But it's important if your child is social and they have friends, and they don't have to have a lot of friends. You know, maybe 1 or 2 really good ones is okay. I tell my kids that. They said, oh, so and so has so many friends, and oh my God, everybody likes them. You don't need that. You know, 2 or 3 is okay as long as they're good friends. That's what's important. So building positive relationships is a part of resilience. It's important also to when building resilience in our children, is that we focus on their managing their emotions and their feelings. I'm sure you all can think of a time when your child came home from school and they just didn't look right. You could tell something was bothering them. And you ask them, mijo, mija, Anak, what's wrong? What's going on? Are you okay? I'm okay. Nothing. And you kind of just left it. Okay, fine. Okay. Where you wish they would have told you what was going on. Okay. So that's part of this in managing the emotion. It's hard to react to what it is they tell you. So if they say, oh, the teacher said this to me. Oh, that teacher. Okay. Or, oh, my girlfriend broke up. I told you you shouldn't be hanging out with that girlfriend. Okay. Where maybe in managing the emotions, it's just letting them express it. Don't react. Don't respond. Just let them share it. Because when you respond, whichever way you respond may encourage them to continue sharing their emotions with you, or may have them stop sharing that stuff with you because of the way you react. So maybe at times they'll react, but for the most part, just let them share it. Because if you kind of are just open just to listening and understanding and just listening to them, they'll be more apt to sharing some of those feelings with you rather than when you react sometimes and that they don't want to share anymore because of the way you react. And it's healthy. So I think it's important for children to know that having feelings of anger is normal. Okay, it's okay to get angry. Okay, but how are you going to channel that? Okay, it's okay to cry. You're sad, you're upset, you're so mad that you want to cry. It's okay to cry. Okay, but what are you going to do after that? Okay, what are we going to learn from it? What changes are we going to make? Okay, and to let them know that feeling those emotions and being angry is okay. So maybe they'll slam the door on you because they're so angry with you. Okay, give them some time, but maybe later say, I understand you're angry. I get it. You're mad at me. And you should be mad because I'm taking your cell phone away. Of course you'd be mad, but do you understand why? And what can we do next time so this doesn't happen again? So then they learn, yeah, there was a consequence. Yeah, you're angry. Of course you'll be angry, but what are we learning from this and what are we going to do better next time so it doesn't happen? Okay, rather than sometimes it's easier, they slam the door and you're like, whatever, fine, be mad. And then you're mad too. Okay. But as a parent, it's important to kind of have those conversations because they learn from you as well. They learn how you communicate and how you deal with stress and how you deal with anger is how they're only going to learn that from you. So if you're able to model some of those behaviors for them, then they'll kind of learn that from you. So the other part is responsibility. So learning responsibility. As a parent, of course, we don't want our children to experience negative situations. We don't want them to experience pain. We don't want them to get hurt. We want to shield them all from that. Okay, but at times they need to experience those things so then they learn how to rise above that, how to cope with that, and how to deal with it. Okay, so as much as we would like to create a perfect world for our children where they don't experience some of those hardships, it's a reality and it happens. Okay, so maybe for you when things like that happen in your life and they see that you're upset or you're stressed or whatever, sometimes it's okay to kind of share some of that stuff with your children. So then they know how you're feeling, they know what you're doing to try and deal with those difficult times and what you might need from them to help you through that. Sometimes I meet with students and they'll say, I'm stressed out. I'm so stressed out because of what's happening at home. Well, what's happening at home? Oh, we lost our house, so my mom's working a lot, or oh, my aunt is sick, so my mom's really sad. She has to go and help. I said, well, did you check in with your mom? She goes, oh, no, I don't want to talk to them about it because they're so stressed out or they're so upset or whatever. And sometimes I tell the student, sometimes you're almost an adult, right? You're 16, you're 17. Sometimes maybe you need to say, Mom, are you okay? Is everything okay? And they go, oh, I go, how do you think your mom would respond or your dad would respond if you said, hey, Dad, are you doing okay? They go, oh, they'd probably like that. Yeah, probably. Okay. And so those are some of the things when they come to me saying their parents are stressed out or their parents are experiencing some difficulty. I say, you're almost 18. You can ask your mom. You can ask your dad. Is everything okay? What can I do to help? Because isn't that what you would want your parents to do for you? Yeah. Well then, let's try. Okay, so that's part of this building responsibility because we want our children to grow and to be responsible for their own feelings, their own emotions, and how to help other people as well. So that's part of that, especially at this age. It's kind of that time to kind of mature mentally as well, and that's part of that. Yeah, so this is part of we talked about. Talk to your child about how they might address a problem. Allow your child to make some of those decisions and be a role model for some of those actions and behaviors with your children. Create opportunities for personal challenge. Provide your child with opportunities to build their confidence and learn how to deal with obstacles, success, and failure when they undertake personal challenges. So I'm going to use school as an example here. Some students may receive less than average grades. So let's say your child comes home with D and Fs, and you'll say, why? Why do you have these D's and Fs? What's up with your grades? So, well, the teacher doesn't allow me to make up my work, or the tests are so hard. The teacher doesn't help me. How do you respond to that? So they're putting blame. The D and F grades are because of the teacher. Okay, so how do you respond to that if your child tells you that? They're right. So that is what the first answer should be. What is it that you tried to do to fix this situation? Because that's what we'll ask. Well, I got asked my teacher this, my teacher that. Well, what did you do? They'll say they may say, yeah, well, I talked to the teacher. Okay, but half the times when we'll ask, they'll say, oh, no, I really didn't. Okay, so that's part of taking on that responsibility. And even if you might need to say, you know what, I'll help you. I will call the counselor, or I will make that appointment with your teacher, but you're going to come with me and you're going to ask. I'll be there. I'm not going to say anything, but it's going to be you who has to have that conversation with the teacher. So then I can hear also what your teacher is going to tell you, so I can reinforce what it is that teacher is telling you. Okay. So it's kind of building that, giving them that responsibility to have those conversations if they need to. Um, I think the talk with your child about self talk. So when they're having difficult situations, um, it's good for them to have that conversation with themselves in their head. Okay, and sometimes say, "Oh, that's weird because you're talking to yourself." No. Okay, when you're forced with a difficult situation, it's important for you to slow down, take a second, and think about what you can do to solve this situation. Okay, I'll give you a few um, sentence starters in a little bit on how we can guide our children to thinking and slowing down and having that personal conversation with themselves on how they can deal with some of those things. I think an important part too, one of our graduation requirements is the community service. So those of you who have children who are younger, it's important that they get involved in real community service where they're at their old elementary school doing some programs with the younger kids. They're at the library, not just dusting off the shelves, but doing some interaction with people and adults, because that'll give them more opportunity to problem solve and experience things and interact with people and use some of these skills that we're talking about. Even those of you that are involved in church, sports, just anything to get your child out of the routine of just home and school and interacting with other people and problem solving and creating projects and things with other people, that builds resilience too. And it's great for college applications and things like that too. But we encourage your children to really take advantage of that community service opportunity to gain experience in using some of these skills. So, 3 resources of resilience. So, if your child is resilient, they should be able to list things that they have, that they am, and that they can. So they should be able to say, I have, I am, and I can. So here are some. So a resilient child should be able to say, I have people around me that I trust and who love me no matter what. I have people who set limits for me, so I know when to stop before there is danger or trouble. I have people who show me how to do things right by the way they do things. I have people who want me to learn things on my own. And I have people who help me when I am sick, in danger, or need to learn. So this might be part of the conversations you can have with your children too. Like, do you think you have people who love you? Okay, do you think it's fair that I set limits for you to make sure that you're not in danger or that you get in trouble? Okay, that's part of that. I am a person people can like and love. I am glad to do nice things for others and show my concern. I am respectful of myself and others, and I am willing to be responsible for what I do. It's sad that first I am a person people can like and love. When I do this with some students honestly, truthfully believe that they do not have someone that likes them or that loves them no matter what. But I know they do because I've met with their friends. Like I see them out here and they interact, they're involved in activities. So I know I've met their parents and I know, but deep down inside, like honestly and truthfully, no matter all of that, they still believe that about themselves. And that's part of this. So um, I don't know if some of you make it a habit to make sure that you verbally tell your children that you care for them, that you love them, you hug them, you touch them. Even if they, mom, don't touch me. They're kind of at that age where like, no, stop it. They'll do that, but really deep down inside, they need that. So even if they push you away, even though they're angry at you for making those rules, deep down inside, they know it's good for them and they know that's the way you show that you love them. And the last one, I can. So this is important for children to know that they know that they can interact or have other people that are there for them. So I can talk to others about things that bother or frighten me. I can find ways to solve problems I can face. I can control myself when I feel like doing something is not right or dangerous. I can figure out when it's a good time to talk to someone or take action. I can find someone to help me when I need it. So that's the I can. So I'm going to end with this quote. Let us not be surprised when we have to face difficulties. When the wind blows hard on a tree, the roots stretch and grow stronger. So let it be so with us. Let us not be weaklings, yielding to every wind that blows, but strong in spirit to resist. So that's part of what we do here at Sweetwater High School as your school counselors. We focus not only on academic, college, and career, but we do also focus on the domains of emotional and social wellness. Okay. Of course, our focus is academics. We're a school, so it's academics. But we're trying to make it more of a focus of ours to deal with the social, emotional well-being of our students. You'll see the back here, there's a stress tree. There's a wellness corner back there in our office. So we're trying to make it so students have a place to talk and share those feelings and they know that we are a resource for those types of things. Um, Please know though that school counselors, we're not therapists. So we're not licensed therapists to do that kind of emotional counseling, but students can definitely come talk to us if they need to talk. But what we would do is call you and refer outside to our agencies here in National City who can provide the higher level of counseling when it comes to mental health, things like that. We're at the end of our presentation. I don't know if anyone has any questions for me this morning. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about this topic. It can be about anything happening at Sweetwater High School right now if you have any questions about that. Yeah. Don't give up the first time. Okay, so if you say, daughter, son, everything okay, they don't want to talk, say okay. maybe the best way to say is, I know you don't want to talk right now, but I want you to know I'm here if you want to, and I'm ready to listen. And you can, and I promise I won't pass judgment. I'll just listen. And then ask again, you're still upset. Are you okay? Do you want to talk? When you're ready to listen, I'll be here. And there's been times too where maybe on the flip side for our students, they'll be experiencing some kind of difficulty and they're having conflict with mom or dad. And we'll offer, do you want to call mom in and we can talk with us? And they say, no, oh my God, my mom's going to be so mad that I told you, or she's just going to yell at me. And I tell the students, listen, when your mom or dad is here with you and the counselor, the conversation will be completely different than what you thought it was going to be. And usually it's very positive, it's different, it's more productive when it's here at school formally with a conversation. So if that's something that you all want to do, maybe you try and talk to your children and they just ignore you, they shrug you off, they don't want to talk to you, but you want to be able to have that conversation with them, that's something that we can do here. And most often your children will open up. I will say about 95% of the time the lines of communication open, because it's just a different dynamic in that conversation when it's here at school with the counselor sitting there with you and your child. It just works a little bit differently. Yeah. We have students coming in, they're all wanting schedule changes for the first day of school. It's like, no, go away. We're not doing schedule changes today. Any other questions? Yeah. the, the general rule is don't overwhelm, to keep it simple. Keep it simple, because the simpler you keep it, the better they're going to be able to do it. Because if you give them a long list, then of course you can say, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that because the list was this long. But if you give them 3 things, and then you can tell them, okay, thank you for doing this, this, and this. But if you give them 10, you'll forget too what you told them because it's so long. Yeah, so keep it simple, because it's easy for you to check them on the 3 things, and the vice versa too. They can remember 3 things. 10, I don't know if they'll remember 10. I know that teenagers don't remember anything. Okay, any other questions? Well, I really appreciate you being here this morning. Happy New Year to all of you. There's some handouts and things in the back. Please make sure you sign in if you didn't. And there's more coffee and snacks up there if you'd like to help yourself. But thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Thank you.